writing and debating, writing and debating, writing and debating. Like that is the fundamental principle of how we tackle both a lack of critical thinking and analysis paralysis and groupthink as part of all of that.
I want to connect this to one of the pitfalls that you discuss in the book. And these are pitfalls about groupthink and analysis paralysis, right? Like all of our tendency as leaders to try and build a certain amount of consensus and also, to think through the problem. And I think that's a natural state of affairs when you are a leader in your category and you are considering a change. So, how do you think about that trap? And what are some things that leaders who are not in crisis might want to keep in mind?
So these things fail for lots of reasons. Like they fail because we don't think critically enough. They fail because we think too long and we all think alike and everything. But I think the biggest reason they fail is because we see the outline of a fuzzy outline of an early opportunity and we all just go, yeah, we're going for it, and everything, right? This kind of describes the GE Predix, digital transformation that they went after. And what we encourage teams to do, like it's rarely the lack of having a good idea. The problem is you typically have way too many ideas.
Yeah.
Or different subtle versions of the same idea. But we get kind of lazy and we tend to like, yeah, that's the idea. And we go and we commit to it up front, right? And what you should commit to is we're going to experiment on this idea. Like we think this is the high value problem. We think this is the killer feature and the future state. What we commit to is de-risking this thing, and then we can allow it to do what it should do, which is either change, adjust, pull back, continue experiment, or go big, like one of those things, right? And so these things start off fundamentally with a fuzziness that actually is tremendously harming throughout the entire life cycle. So if we can create clarity, that's why the first critical habit is create clarity. If we can create clarity and kind of test this thing out just by writing and debating on it, you start with a tremendous advantage of speed and clarity of thought. We want both of those things. And so this is modeled after Amazon's working backwards approach. We got really specific on for teams and companies that aren't familiar with how to write a narrative 6-pager or an FAQ. We give you specific templates and memos to write that help elicit out like what you need to do. Yeah. But writing and debating, like that is the fundamental principle of how we tackle both a lack of critical thinking and analysis paralysis and groupthink as part of all of that.
And do you believe that the convicted innovation leader, the convicted leader who believes that we need to do something different, has to put that first stake in the ground on what to write? Like, how do you start that cycle? And maybe asked a little bit more specifically, who is accountable for first defining the problem in such a way that the team can start to grapple with it and can start to iterate?
Yeah. So clearly, like a small focused team to drive this effort, but then syndicate that conversation against a broader group is kind of the critical pairing that has to be made. So we talk about the concept of a DRI, or directly responsible individual, who leads this effort within an organization. Kevin McCaffrey was that individual at T-Mobile, right? Amazon uses the language of single-threaded leader, a senior leader who is senior enough to actually have sway and know-how within the organization and ecosystem. And so, typically what happens is these initiatives, they get way underpowered, they get like you have mid-level project managers that are leading the effort, and nobody is truly accountable at a senior level for deeply paying attention to this precious little baby that we're trying to bring along or write and debate about and everything. And so having a senior enough leader who is ostensibly fully committed to the exploration of an idea or a portfolio of ideas, I think is one of the most controllable factors you have in whether you're going to be successful at this game or not.